Welcome to WO50, Women Over 50 Embody Wisdom and Wellness.
Hello there. My name is Corinne, and I'm with my BFF Eddie. And today our topic is the evolution of our values, how they shape us at different stages of our lives.
Oh, we
Eddie.
talked about lots of beautiful things, stories.
We learned what we valued in our 20s, Eddie and I. We talked about that and what we value now, that this podcast is a reflection of our values.
Yep. How it changes as we change, how it shapes our lives, from whether it's you value spirituality or the climate or youth or beauty. We talked about all kinds of things.
Yeah. So we hope you enjoy it. Hello, Eddie.
Hello, Kin. How are you?
I'm good. I don't want to tell you it's like 70 degrees out right now.
Yeah, I don't need to know, but we are warming up here. The snow is melting, and I'd say in 7 days there'll be no snow left on the ground, but we still got some. Yeah, no, but it's warming. Spring is in the air.
I took a picture actually at Trader Joe's when I was just there a little while ago, and I took this picture for you. I was going to send it to you, and it says, "I'm sorry for the things I said when it was winter."
I forgive you. I forgive you.
No, that's for you, not for me. I'm not affected.
Oh no, I just thought it meant where you were saying it's so nice here. The sun is out and it's so beautiful, and I'm out planting my seeds, and and I'm
My
like,
little babies are
well,
growing so fast.
oh no, mine are still in the package.
Yep.
Yeah,
Yep.
in
That's
April.
okay. Yeah,
We'll
you
plant
got
in
lots of
April.
time still. Yep.
Yes, I place a lot of value on spring coming.
There we are. There's our values. What is it? So we're talking about the evolution of our values and how they shape us at the different stages of our lives. I think this is a fascinating topic
I do
because,
too.
yeah. I find in my coaching practice, and then of course that's helped me in my life too. When when somebody's bothered by something, I try to figure out what their values are. And because sometimes people have values, but their values don't match with their actions. So I
Yes.
remember talking to this one client years ago where health was super important to her, and her fitness and her health was. So she spent a lot of time working out, but she didn't spend any worry about what she ate.
Yeah. See, that's one of my values. I value good food.
You
Even if I
do.
have to pay a little bit more, like that really, that has changed over my lifetime too. I find,
Yeah.
when I'm younger, I didn't put as much value on the strawberries or where they came from as I do now,
Yeah.
the,
Well, you
the
didn't know.
food. No, I didn't know. And that's what happens. Our values change as we evolve, right?
Yeah.
We make different choices. So, when we have children or grandkids or we get older or the values keep changing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And to be in touch with that, like one of the things I think is a great question is, what is the most important thing to you? What is your answer, Ed? What's the
Mm.
most important thing to you?
The most important thing is connection for me.
Yeah.
Connection, friends, family connection, just and then it's health and fitness and food, right? Well-being.
Mm-hmm.
But right away. And then there's another one like peace and
I was going to say mine is
peace
peace.
and
Mine's like
truth
first is
and
peace. Yeah.
and love, right? Like there's so many. It's hard to say the first one,
But there
but
usually is a first one, because usually you
yeah,
can trail back. Like, why do you value connections? How do they make you feel?
peaceful.
Exactly. So most things, or fulfilled. And then how does that
Yeah.
make what's underneath fulfillment? It's usually
Yeah.
peace. Peace is underneath most of them. Not for everybody, but if you're, inquire long enough into that, that's usually what it peels back to. And so once you figure out what your values are, what's important to you, are your actions sort of matching that? Because people that are dissatisfied or have some anxiety or depression, usually their actions are not matching what their values are. But once they see on paper what their values are and maybe what they need to spend more time on, then that's very helpful. And I
Mhm.
think I feel like our values change. Like I had this epiphany today. Why I had sent you the topic suggestion today is because I was like, why is it? Because we've been talking. You and I've been talking about developing that course on healthy aging or timeless aging, about being comfortable as we age over
Mhm.
50, and as women in this culture that worships youth and beauty. And I was like, why is it such a cultural thing that we don't value? And I actually was having dinner last night with a friend of mine who's 63 and very successful in her career, and can't even imagine. And her husband's almost 70, and
Mhm.
both super healthy. But she can't even, but she's got like a ton of employees. She's got two stores and just a lot. And I'm like, don't you want to start slowing down? And she was like, well, I'm not ready to retire. I'm not ready to do nothing. So she thought
Mhm.
retirement meant doing nothing,
Yeah.
you know? And
Yes.
so she's worried that she won't have motivation to get out of bed in the morning. She's like, if I don't have anything to do, I'll just stay in bed all day. And so there are these things to look at, to inquire about, because she is sort of, even though she still loves what she does, she's having less patience for the people that she has to deal with. And she's having less energy too at 63 than she did when she was 40,
Yeah.
or 35.
So I
So,
think we have to take like an inventory, of ourselves. And what is it, and she values purpose right now. She values her career, her life, her give back service as well, right? That's a big value.
well, I think, yeah, but I think people don't look at their work as service, like, but the way I feel about it is that we can be of service whether we're working, making money, working at a job
Hmm.
or not. Like, it doesn't matter. Like, I feel of service wherever I go, whether I'm sitting on the plane talking to somebody. I was at the doctor today, and the doctor's assistant came in, and she's like, "What's that smell?" And I told her about my little essential oil and how it'd be helpful for her under all these, whatever the lights are, those fluorescent lights all
Fluorescence.
day.
Yeah.
I'm
Yeah.
like, oh, because she was just like, it brightened up her day. And
Yeah.
so I'm just like that wherever I go, and I think you are as well. And but you can be of service even if you're not like making a living at your job or whatever. So it's kind of,
Mhm.
yeah, inquiring into that. And also too, like how your values, being open to how your values can change. So so let's look at your values, and we'll look at my values when we were younger. See,
Yeah.
what were your values in your 20s, say?
In my 20s, my values, learning.
Learning.
Yeah, I really valued learning.
Yep. And I think you also valued certainty and security
Yes, yes, which is why valuing learning and getting an education
and a
and
degree,
a degree and work
good
and
job.
yeah, and something that I could see myself, you know, I never went too far future thinking, but I
Yep.
knew whatever, my career I could do anywhere if I wanted to travel, if anywhere. So I valued what I would be working at, and I wanted to enjoy it. I
Yep.
wanted to be doing something that I did enjoy, and I did.
Yep.
I've loved my career.
Yep.
Yeah,
So
I've
you valued,
loved.
and that shaped your life. So you valued learning and security, and that shaped your life, the basis of your work, really. That shaped your
Hmm.
decision of what to do for a living.
Hmm.
And then kind of shaped because you started off as a nurse,
Hmm.
oncology nurse, right? That was your
Yes,
first gig
yes,
in
yep. I
Vancouver in
was
your
an
20s.
oncology nurse, and then I was dabbling in music as well. So I valued music. I valued, you know,
Creativity.
creativity, the arts, expression, yeah, and again being able to travel and do things and again learn new
Hmm.
instruments, learn new things. So, but everything kept changing. Like the value, I think the value we place on different things changes as we get older because in my 20s it was creating the life, creating um, a path. And then 30s was when, you know, I had got married and had my daughter. And then the value shifts, right? It shifts when there's family and you have your own. And I valued being a mother. I was like, oh, I like being a mom. I like raising a child. I like this life. And then that shifts again, right? It
Mhm.
just, and that's the thing we have to be ready for in our life is that a lot of times some of our values stay the same, but most often they change.
Mhm. Yeah. Yeah.
Change
It's
with
because
belief systems. How about you? What was your
oh, well, my
start?
values in my 20s were, freedom, because I quit, quit university and to join a band, so and, freedom and I would say my value was, like, to be seen. I had a value that I needed to be seen, that's why I became a musician. It wasn't I mean, had a sweet voice, but I think the if I really got down to it, I enjoyed singing. I did make good money at it, but I really felt seen. I also had a value of boys, so I really liked guys, and I got more attention when I sang. So you can see how my values have changed over the
Yeah.
years. I'm being
Yeah.
very honest to here about what my
Yeah.
values were, and they also caused me a lot of pain too because they were all values sort of outside of myself that I couldn't control and um
Hmm.
and then when I started meditating, then all that sort of went out the window and I valued meditation and peace and
Yeah.
freedom and helping people
Yeah.
and
And teaching, you were
yeah.
teaching yoga, your spirituality, evolved as did mine, right? It just keeps shifting. Like it's unbelievable. Like even environmental stuff, like when we like growing up, the consciousness of earth and no, it was way too big of a concept, and now there's so much that we need to do for the planet, and then we place value on that. What's our give back there?
Well, that's a
So
value you have. You got
yes,
to
yes,
can't generalize.
absolutely.
Yeah, yeah, that's a
No,
value
I'm not
you have.
generalizing.
Yeah,
Yes,
yeah.
yes,
Yeah,
that's right.
because that
Yeah.
can be because and certainly is in you and your honey, that's a value for you guys, especially since you both have children and grandchildren. Or
Hmm.
you have a grandchild because grandchildren. I guess you both
Yes.
do, and the reason why I want to go back to when I had this epiphany today, it was
Hmm.
like I feel like one of the problems, not the main one, but one of the things we can work on it if we have a problem as we get older and we're not sure if we feel a value is to look at our values and to see that they need to change because I think what the most common one I hear is that people, I work with a lot of as you do, very successful people. So they value being successful, they value being seen, they value making money, they value being fit, they value
Hmm.
act and they value travel. And I think that's a little fear as they get older that, there and it is a natural thing. Of course, we've talked about this before. You don't have to stop traveling and stop being fit, but
Hmm.
you do have to shift a little in what so we mentioned many times instead of running 10 miles a day, you might want to jog 2 or walk instead, and
Hmm.
so I think if you look at your values and you start valuing more solitude and reading and being quiet and not traveling as much, you know, again, it's not that everybody you have to lay down and die. That's the opposite. It's just embracing where your body and mind are at, or maybe valuing learning more things to keep your mind active.
Hmm. Valuing time, valuing
Oh, that's a big one.
a lot of people value youth. They value, and they don't look at, okay, here I am, the body is aging, getting older, and we need to value that.
Yeah.
There's- because it's happening.
Mhm. And it's
So,
and there is great wisdom, like, one of the things I really enjoy is sitting down with young people and talking to them, and I love their youth and I love their energy and I love their curiosity and I even love their lostness, their I love it because I was there so and I'm so grateful I'm not there, most of the time now and I love that they appreciate the wisdom and that I do have some wisdom to share
mm,
with them as they have to share with me. Like it's not like above it's
absolutely.
like, I get just as much from them, but it's really fun to I was having lunch with 2 younger ladies, on Sunday, and, one of them was having, she said something, and they're 2 really good friends, and I don't know one of them really well, very well, and so she was talking about a guy that her friend said, "Oh, have you called so and so?" And she's, "No, I'm not gonna call him now." And that's all I knew. I knew nothing about the relationship, how long it been, and I kinda laid it out. "Oh, is that a guy that you've been back and forth with many times, and you've said yes to several times, that brought him back, and now you've had a" she goes, "How did you know that?" I just
'Cause, I used to value that. I know
You
that
just know the
story.
stories play out, right?
Yes,
Yeah.
and I learn from really young people all the time, and you know what they cherish or value. Like I always think like cherish is like the emotional feeling behind the value, what we think is worthy, right? That's kind of like we value something, we think it's worthy. So isn't well worthy of our attention, but isn't aging worthy? Isn't it? Why do we not value that? Well, I am working on that one.
Yeah.
You're working on that one. We're
Yeah.
doesn't mean we give up on ourselves and let our skin go all weird
Yeah,
and
we
our
still
hair go
use the
all weird
expensive
and
that's right. We get our hair
yeah,
done.
yeah, I value the good vitamin C that we put on our skin. We value there's it's different for everybody.
Yeah.
Some people their value is to build an empire to leave a legacy. They
Mhm.
value their legacy, right?
Mhm.
And others is day to day peace, but I think taking inventory within ourselves. That's why when you mentioned the topic, I'm like, this is a good time to sit back now and look at what I truly value. Is there
Mhm.
anything I've shifted away from? Is there things I'm putting more emphasis on? And there always is.
Mhm.
Always. It's beautiful.
Yeah, I think staying curious is a key at any age, but
Mhm.
really knowing ourselves. That's what I talked to my friend last night about I feel like what I do in my own personal life and then the work that I do with people and the work I think we do with each other as friends
Mhm.
is, is to keep questioning what we think our belief systems are or our values are. Does that compute anymore? Are we following through? Like, so if health is important to me, am I making sure that I get enough cardio every day? That's why I got my little trampoline because I certainly wasn't because I don't love exercising. I've mentioned that many times before. I love walking and hiking and but I'm a fair weather like, I like when the weather's nice, so I got my little trampoline so that I can, be inside. So
Mhm.
making sure these line up. And sometimes too, like even travel, like I love traveling's fun. It's not like I've traveled a lot in my life. So I'm getting
Mhm.
to a point where if I go somewhere that's great,
Yeah.
but I also am really enjoying not having any travel plans right now in Nashville and enjoying the spring because usually I might, be heading to Vancouver, I mean, I will be heading there for the summer for sure for at least 2 or 3
Yeah.
weeks in the summer. But right now, that's a few months away still. I'm really enjoying being, um, just nestling in and being here. And a lot of times what happens is I, prep in the spring and then I'm gone all summer, gone for like 2 months and my garden just starts to wither all the energy I put it in the spring. So really
Yeah.
looking at that and not and noticing if there's a restlessness. There's less restlessness than there has been in me in the past.
Yeah. So there's that value again of the peace and the garden, the nature,
Hands in the dirt.
hands in the dirt, feet in the soil, sun on your face, on your skin, with some sunscreen, of course. But
Don't use sunscreen. Nope,
I
not
do.
gonna do it.
I
Mm-mm.
know. I do. I get some sun without, and but you um have to live in a place with a lot of sun to be leery of it. And we don't have a lot of sun here in
I was
Newfoundland.
gonna say you
No,
don't wear any sunscreen in Newfoundland.
I do. I actually
Oh, when
wear.
you get
I
out on the
do
boat, you do.
wear sunscreen. No, but in my moisturizer every morning. There's sunscreen in it, and I'm inside. So I'm just in the habit of using it. It's
Mm,
in different things I have. But well, yeah, if I'm out on the boat or I'm outside, I'll put some on. Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah,
I've been
I
listening
do.
to a lot of people lately about the importance of not wearing sunscreen so that your skin gets what it
Yeah.
needs. Not
Well, and
I'm not saying a couple hours a day, I'm just saying at least an
yes.
hour a day of
Well,
getting.
we do need some sun on our body without the sunscreen. And
Mhm.
then, there's those that have suffered with skin cancer and they do not value the sun
Yeah.
because they've
Yeah.
had their skin treated and sometimes chemotherapeutic drugs to treat it. And again, it's you do you. You place value on what you need
Mhm.
for yourself, for your mind, your body.
Mhm. And making sure your actions are lining up with your values and questioning your values
Hmm.
as the years go by, and what if you have a problem with something with any part of aging. I'm going to be 61 coming up here in another month. It's not as big
Crazy.
as
Where's
turning
that go?
60. Not as
Mm,
big as 60 is. I'm still trying to get over turning 60.
I
It's
know.
still just an uncomfortable number, but
Yeah.
for me, you know,
Yeah. Yeah.
it, yeah.
Well,
It's
it's just hard to believe because we're there. We're in that number and it's like, wow. But it does get easier with time,
Yeah.
especially in a world where social media celebrates beauty and youth and no wrinkles.
And laughing all the time and being on the beach and having a perfect body, which it's all
Yeah.
fixed with the Photoshop anyway. Yeah, it's
Yes.
funny.
Yes.
But
It's
I
like,
mean, it's there's challenges we don't even. I mean, we're
mhm.
old enough and wise enough, hopefully, to not be affected by it as much. But the younger people, man, the ones that have a handle on it, I have a lot of respect for.
Me too. Me too. And there are a lot out there that have a handle on it, and there's
Mhm.
those that still, are fighting those thoughts, those what they still place value on. And things are
Mhm.
changing. The body's getting older and now it's focused on our bones and our health and our well-being and we have to move. We have to keep inflammation down. We have to, there's certain things we have to place value on.
Mhm.
Our health and well-being, your brain, it's yeah. We talked about that in another podcast.
Yeah, yeah, and I think that
Yeah.
you don't when you're younger, you don't really think about it. Like, I remember, you don't think about the health of your brain, or you just
No.
automatically have health and your brain works fine and you eat crap and until about
Yeah.
30. But in
Well, we
your
take it for granted. We
Yeah,
take it for
yeah, for
granted. We
sure.
don't really because you don't need to. The body's fixing everything for you really
Yeah,
fast. But as we get older, you bang your knee, it takes it some time to heal. It doesn't
yeah,
just it's done. It's out of your mind. It's we gotta, listen to the body, listen to it.
yeah.
Yeah. Place value on it. It's your it's an asset.
It's
It
an
is.
asset, not just your
It's a
ass, but your whole
not
body.
just your ass, it's an asset. Not an ass it. Yeah, it's good. What else do we
Yeah.
have to talk about with all this? What's some beautiful points you have to make?
Well, I think I've made them. I think that you can't ever like inquire too much about what you value, and if you're living your values, what they are. Because sometimes we
Yeah.
might even have a value from when we were a kid that we don't have anymore, but we think they are. Because I'll
Yeah.
ask people will make a statement sometimes, and I'm like, do you really believe that anymore? Like, is that
Yeah.
even part of your, it's just like a reflex action, whether it's religion. We usually feel
Mhm.
differently about religion and spirituality from when we're younger.
Mhm.
Um, or if your family is important to you or not, if your parents are important to you. Some
Mm.
people, yeah, so just really dissecting what your values, I can say my values are people will say, "How can you go on a silent retreat?" And I'm like, "You know what? I'm just as happy going on a silent retreat than I am going to the Caribbean and laying on the
Yeah.
beach. And that's one of my favorite vacations is beach, you know,
Mhm.
nice weather, jungle, walking in the sun, whatever it is.
Mhm.
And but I just as soon do a side. And there's not a lot of people. I don't know if that's your value.
Well, I enjoy it. I mean, when I've gone and done the silent retreats with you, I've enjoyed it.
Yes, yeah, you did
You
enjoy
know,
it.
and I do place value on it because it is a, an amazing way to spend time, you know, my to grow as a human, you know, to we don't get to sit with ourselves very often
Yeah,
and inquire and just be, and even look deep within and see if our beliefs and our principles still align with us, you know?
yeah, yeah.
And
Silent
though,
retreat, it could be a good time to do that. Yeah.
yeah, it is, even though you're supposed to just do nothing, but there's still a lot going on. And you're still shifting, right? You're shifting. It just happens.
It's not even supposed to do nothing. It's just sitting with whatever arises
Yes. Yes,
or walking
exactly.
with whatever arises, or, it's whatever arises in your mind on a
Mhm.
silent retreat. It's like that's what you just want to look at. Cause a lot of times we don't,
Yes.
we're not aware of the tape that's running in our head
It's
constantly until
funny. I yesterday I had a that's true. Sorry to
it's okay.
interrupt, but this lady said, I said, so she's going on a holiday. And I said, that's great. I said, you're going, yeah, somewhere warm, going down to the beach. I said, now you're going to swim in the ocean. She goes, oh, no, I'm not getting in the ocean. There's stuff in the ocean. I'm like, well, of course, there's stuff everywhere. You know, there's stuff in the sand, there's stuff in the air, there's stuff everywhere. She goes, oh, I'm not getting in the water. I said, that beautiful, warm, but you can see all the way down. She goes, nope, frightened to death of it. I said, well, do you truly believe that? Did somebody share that experience with you? Do you, oh, my mom, she hates the water. She's frightened of it. And I said, and you've believed that your whole life. I said, so if you go to the beach and you value that time that you're there and you think for a minute you can go in that water and get in it and submerge yourself, and even if it's just to go up to your belly button, are you going to try it? She goes, well, you know, now I'm talking to you here and you're telling me that this is my mother's belief that's been passed on. Maybe, maybe I need to rethink it. And I'm going, yeah. She goes, well, I don't know. I'm not going to go too far because, you know, there's sharks. And I'm going, okay, here we go. Don't think those thoughts. Just get in the water and feel the water and feel something else other than the thought of the shark
Mhm.
because you're in a lake.
Yeah.
There's no sharks in the lake. Okay. Okay. Let's start there. It's really sweet.
Oh,
So
that's great.
sometimes we do, we believe things that's been, you know,
Yeah,
conditioned. It's
yeah.
moved forward. And we don't even know if it's ours anymore. And that's why in life we stop and take inventory and go, you know, like you say, what's in the soup? It's in
Mhm.
the soup. Our soup's always a little different.
I think one of the things that I am so curious as to why there are issues with aging for me personally, different issues. Like it's definitely a thing I'm inquiring about all the time. It's like and some days I'm completely okay with everything and other days I'm like what's bothering me? And I don't know if I've ever said this on the podcast or if I've ever told you this, but I was incredibly uncomfortable with older people when I was young.
Mm.
You know how some kids they love older people?
Hmm.
I did not like older people.
Oh,
I
wow.
I wasn't raised around that many. Like we had like my grandma, well, I had one grandma who was amazing, the other grandma not amazing. Um Same with my grandfather who was really cool. He died and the other one was kind of eh. But we had aunts and uncles that were older. They're my second aunts and uncles that they're but we weren't around them a whole lot. I've just tried to figure out why. And I even remember thinking, why is it that I'm so uncomfortable around older people?
Hmm.
I don't. And so, and I eventually, I guess grew out of it. It was something that was maybe in my teens but I found it took a long time to get comfortable with resonating with talking to really
Mm,
older people.
yeah.
Yeah, anyways, it's a weird thing. I don't quite know. So,
And now, well, now you realize as you're becoming one of these older people that all those ages are still in there.
yeah, they're still
It's
the
like my
same. I think
you're
yeah, it was
still the same.
unknown. Yeah.
Yeah, it
I
was
think
the
it was
unknown.
unknown. I think it was
Yeah.
unknown because I just couldn't see myself getting there. Didn't
Yeah.
know that they were still the same person as they were. I had this idea that an older person was just some foreign object that
Yes. I know.
and
How does it happen? Right. It was like,
yeah.
how does that happen so fast from this to this? My mother, she'll be 89 in a few months, and she says, I don't feel as old as I'm almost 90. She said, I don't feel that. And I don't think I look it until I pass a mirror and I go, who is that old woman looking back at me? And
Yeah.
that's kind of like how I feel sometimes. I'll look in the mirror and go, wow, you're getting older, but it's okay. Don't obsess on it now. Don't get caught up in what is going on unless you have to, unless our hip is paining or your knee can't bend anymore, or
Mhm.
there's sometimes these mechanical things that go on with our body, and science can fix it. They can put in a new knee, a new hip. We just get caught up in that story of we don't want to age. And I hear some children say it. Like even my grandson, he said, are you going to get old? I said, well, baby, it's too late. I'm already older. And he goes, no, I mean old. Like, are you going to get old and die? I said, well, possibly. Yeah. So far, this is how the world is operating here. And
You actually
yeah,
said possibly instead of yes,
yeah.
everybody dies.
Yes, yes, possibly. Yes, but that's probably the word came out of my mouth because he catches me off guard. And I'm like, yes, but I think he worded it in a way like soon, like
Yeah,
today, like,
I see,
you know
yeah.
what I mean? It was
Yeah, it wasn't like down the road
like,
because kids don't really
yeah,
have
no,
an idea
everything.
about
No,
time.
no.
Yeah,
And we've had that conversation where everything, we celebrate birth, we celebrate death, we have a beautiful party coming in, we should have a beautiful party going out.
yeah.
And that's what I try and instill in him. And I keep focusing with the grandkids that I'm still here. Let's enjoy this moment. And then they'll be around my mother and they'll go, she's getting really old. I said, getting. She is really old. And it's great. We she's like she says she gets up every morning and she's still here and she's so happy she's still here. And I want to have that as a value, that I
Yeah,
wake up and I value the beautiful day that I get to experience and enjoy,
yeah,
and not get caught up in, is my face getting old, is
yeah.
it is,
Is
it's
my
getting
neck hanging
older.
down too much? I'll
I'll
just
slow
put
it
another
down.
scarf on.
Yeah, put a scarf on, wear turtlenecks. That's the good thing about cold weather. You can wear lots of
Yes.
scarves and turtlenecks,
Mhm,
and yeah.
mhm.
But if you're not looking at it all the time, then that should be
Well, and
out
also
of your
too,
mind,
right, and
right?
also too, when we see like part of what I want to include in our course is, like the archetypes, like finding women either who have passed or now, over 80, whatever, over whatever, older, and the ones that we absolutely adore and think are gorgeous, every line, every wrinkle, every neck thing, and
Yes.
we only look at it as beautiful. We don't look at other people thinking, oh, they got another wrinkle.
Yeah.
I can't believe like, we don't look at
Yeah.
that at all in
And
other
who
people.
said and who said that was ugly? Who said wrinkles are
Yeah,
ugly?
yeah, yeah.
Why are we also anti-aging? Well,
Mhm.
it's like a let's beat the war on wrinkles. Why is there a war on wrinkles? Like, it makes me giggle when I hear some of the language, but I almost believed it. I
Mm,
almost believed it. I
mhm,
almost placed a lot of value that, okay, I got to keep my youth. I got to keep young. And
mhm,
then I don't know, with doing this and you and I talking and sharing what we share, there's, it's softening, and it's like,
mhm,
you know
mhm.
what? I want to move through this process of aging with support and gentleness and kindness and with friends and colleagues that are on the
Mhm.
same page.
Mhm. Yeah.
You know,
Yeah.
I don't sit around in circles with the peeps I, you know, socialize with. We don't. I don't sit around and we don't talk about the liners and how to get rid of wrinkles and glue and the next best surgery and the next best. We don't. We talk
Mm.
about other stuff,
Mhm. Yeah.
food and life and gardening and recipes. And there might be a lipstick or a skin cream or something, but
Mhm.
we're not breaking our faces down to each other.
Mhm. Yeah. It's
You
beautiful.
know? Yeah. And I love there's a picture that's floated around a long time, and it's two women. And I think I sent it to you years ago. And they're 105 years old, the two of them. And they got long hair, lots of wrinkles, and they're laughing, they're missing teeth. And the caption says, "Remember when we were young and beautiful? Now we're just beautiful."
Yes.
And
Yes.
that, you know,
Yeah.
and that stays, and I see the two of them in my head. And because beauty, what is it to you? So the value on beauty, that's why with the course we'll do is what does it mean to you?
Mhm.
What is beauty?
Mhm.
It doesn't have to be a picture of something or
Mhm.
someone. It's what does it feel like to you?
Mhm.
Let's change the narrative on this.
Mhm.
That's what I
Absolutely.
want. You and
Nice.
me, Emma Thompson, all these amazing women out
Yes.
there.
Jamie Lee Curtis, Drew
Jamie Lee,
Barrymore, Jane
Drew,
Fonda.
Maria Shriver, Jodie
Mhm.
Foster, Nick. Yeah,
Yeah. Yeah.
let's honor these beautiful women. And
Mhm. So I wanted to share one thing with you. Then, so I value my relationship with my mama. And, my mom was my best friend always. She's been to every important event I've ever had in my life, whether it was in Australia or India or in Nashville. I mean, she just would always drop everything and come wherever. I mean, she'd come to Nashville for like 2 months at a time when I used to have my yoga studio here. And so now she's in her retirement home and I'm here and she doesn't want to travel too much. So she won't be coming here. So I've got to go there more. Which and then I call her on FaceTime about twice a week. She hates every time she gets on. She's like, "There's a wrinkle here," and I'm like, "Mom, you're not supposed to be looking at you. You're supposed to be looking at me." And she goes, "Well, I can't help it. It's like in my face." And so I talk to her like 30 or 40 minutes twice a week on FaceTime, but I'm wanting to connect more to her. So I was trying to think of something, but I didn't want to just say good morning every morning because I'm like, that doesn't mean anything, right? It's like I want to. So, anyways, I had taken some stuff out of my closet yesterday and a big bunch of photos fell out of some photos I hadn't seen in a while from like high school and in my 20s. And I was like, I had this idea because I did go through a lot of boyfriends in high school and in my 20s. And I'm like, and she knew, walked through every single one. So I'm going to send every day a photo of me and a boyfriend and say, which one was this and see if she can remember their name.
and she will.
She will. Oh yeah. So yesterday was Everett, was my very first boyfriend. I was
Oh,
15 or 16, something like that, 15, I think. And she's like, and it was a very blurry photo. Like you could hardly, it was the only photo I have of Everett and it was it was at my mom's second wedding, which she doesn't admit that
funny.
wedding because they were only married for 3 months, but um she had it annulled. And so it was at that wedding and Everett's like we're underneath an awning or something like that. Anyways, she said, "Oh, that was Evan. I mean Everett," and she figured it out who it was. So, so anyways, I've been having
Sweet.
fun kind of going through those photos and sending, and I haven't done the one today yet, so I got to send her one today and see if she knows
I
the
know.
next
It's,
one.
it's really sweet. And we learn from them. We learn from what they do. And, when I popped to see my mom, she was teaching my nephew how to knit. And he was making cloths. He was sitting there knitting cloths. And mom was so proud. She goes, "Look how fast he caught on to that."
That's
And
Riot,
he
right?
Yes, and he values his time with her so much, Like he's such a treasure. And
Mm,
once he said, "Yeah, I'm not going to go in. to the cabin with mom and dad and my brother. I'm just going to stay with Nan because, she's getting old and she might die soon. Like, I'm going, okay,
How old is he
okay.
again?
He's 8.
It's amazing.
He's almost 9, but he's just a beautiful little soul. Just I just love them. They're sweet. They're sweet.
Yeah.
And he values that time. Isn't that sweet?
Yeah.
And when he's older and he'll look back at that and go, "Oh, he knows what he valued." Yeah.
Mhm.
So, yeah,
Good
there
one.
it
I
is.
like it. There it is. I hope that listening, you guys
Yep.
listening, that you maybe wrote down a few notes or took note in your head, and that there's some helpful points for you because that's why we have this
Yep.
conversation.
Because our values, we learn they shape our lives. They help us with our decisions. So,
And Eddie and I's value is connecting with each other, and it's also sharing what we know and helping other people. So this podcast is a reflection of what we value.
yeah, it's very valuable.
We hope it's valuable.
We do. We sure do.
So I probably have mentioned this before, but the reason why we ask you to subscribe and to make a review is because it helps the algorithms to push it up so that more people can find it. So we love the people that are listening and send us emails and texts and stuff that you guys.
Thank
We
you.
appreciate you ladies so much.
Mhm.
And if you haven't done a review, just take a few minutes and write one sentence or two. That'd be very helpful, and send it to a friend who might need it.
Yeah, and if you have topics you want discussed, send them to us. We have all
Do it.
kinds of stuff up that we can share or talk about or research.
And we are going to do our first interview too, coming up in a couple of weeks. So watch
Yeah.
for that too. And so I haven't scheduled anybody else other than my friend Sarah coming up, but I would love to interview a few more people as well. Have that
Mhm.
conversation between 3 wise women,
We will.
3 WO50s.
So be wise,
Be well,
be valued,
be joyful.
be